All right, I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to be talking about some things in a bit of a negative manner. I do want to bring some things up that I think are not the best for the game. And we're going to have an open discussion about this. I want to see what people say in the comments while white knighting and also completely hating the game. And I kind of want to fall somewhere in the middle. I want to discuss the main points that I put on my Discord. And if you do want to kind of interact with Kaiju No.8 fans, because of course, for some reason, there's no official Discord, no PC client, the list goes on. But join the Discord, join the Kaiju No.8 channels. And there's a couple things I did bring up. There's three main points that worry me, and we're going to talk about them. Now, one of the points is going to slightly get into spoilers, but I really don't think so. I'm going to warn you guys before talking about it, and I'll tell you when to look away for like 2 seconds. Besides that, I don't really spoil much. So let's really get into it with the 3 points I want to make. So personally, I think this update has some negative points, but there's also some really good points that I realized. I do want to talk about this because I was actually dumbfounded, but the pity is actually a week longer than the banner ends, right? So for example, a week after the banner ends, you're going to still be able to pity the units. So for example, if a unit comes out on the 30th, well, you're still going to have a week to pity Shinomiya. So what does that mean? Essentially, if we get a unit on the 30th, then you summon on that unit, you get them in 30 pulls, but oh, I have 250 pity. Let me now pity Shinomiya without actually summoning on her banner. You could do something like that. And I think retroactively doing the pity is really good, and I love it because of the rates. The rates are like 3 times Hoyo verse rates for the rate up, because I think rate up on Hoyo is 0.3, and this is 1% for character and weapon, so it's 2% rate up. So it's very good. I actually really like it. Now, what is the first thing that I really don't like though? The weapon. So basically they're making weapons character exclusive. Now what do I mean by that? Well, I think it says it here. Pretty sure it does. Let's go into it. So the character and weapon listed above, as well as the 4-star and 3-star weapon, are available for a limited time in this gacha. They may be available again in the future. However, if you see here, the 5-star weapon, the 4-star weapon, and the 3-star weapon are all limited, which means they're not going to be on future banners. Now, this sucks ass. So why does it suck ass? Let's talk about it. Well, for example, this morning I summoned, I pitied Shinomiya, and then I didn't continue summoning at first. I only had the 3-star weapon. Now, why do you think I continued summoning? 2 reasons. I wanted the weapon and I also wanted the dupe, but I wanted the weapon. And I've seen a lot of people say they wanted the weapon, and one of the main reasons, 2 main reasons. One, you're not going to be able to get the weapons in the future on other banners, right? You go on standard, you can't get it, right? You can't do stuff like that. And then for like the battle pass weapon, there's no shield, right? There's no shield to get anywhere else. So if you don't get the 5-star or the 4-star, you're stuck with the 3-star and you won't be able to get it in the future. So this brings FOMO to where you're going to want to get it, right? You're going to want to get it, do more pulls, even if you shouldn't. And I think that sucks, right? The biggest part is that this isn't going to be only for Shinomiya. There's other units. And look away from my camera for 2 seconds. Hide the camera in 3, 2, 1. But for example, this unit pretty much is going to be getting a exclusive weapon, right? So that unit too is also in one way or another, from what I saw. Not going to go too much more in depth, but they will have an exclusive weapon. Maybe it is expanded in the future. However, just the idea that there's more units that will be getting exclusive weapons sucks ass, because either you get the weapon on the initial run or else the unit's going to be way worse. And I don't like that idea. And the biggest reason is because there's no other alternatives, right? If they gave you alternatives like a free 4-star, even if it's not the best, at least you'd have something. Because if we go right to like any of these units, right, if I really wanted to, I could get a different 5-star for Reno, I could get a different 5-star for Hoshina, right, different 5-star weapon for Kikoru. I cannot do that for Sagan, and I just don't want this to become a trend. Now the biggest thing is that, okay, it might not be a trend. However, in a week they managed to somehow release a new weapon type completely only for Sagan, and also released 2 banners in a week, right? We got him on the 31st, sorry. We got her on the 8th. 2 banners in a week, essentially. Actually, like about a week, because it Reno for me released on 11 p.m. and then she released 4 a.m. So it's like a week and 5 hours of a difference. So that's another thing. It's very possible, highly likely, we get a unit between the 18th to the 22nd, maybe the 16th actually, because 16th is Fierce Battle. We're gonna have to see. That's gonna be yikes if we do. This point is not confirmed, but because of how the episodes go and because Renault's banner is gonna leave, it's very possible we get another banner. But just the idea of getting 2 banners in a week, it's like very weird, to where we might in total get 3 banners this month, right? No matter what, we will be getting 3 banners in the span of a month, right? So even if a banner doesn't come on the 22nd, because Shinomiya's banner released so much earlier, I don't know how to feel about that, right? I don't know how to feel about that, because releasing her on the 8th, that means at max, the next banner, the next unit is going to be on the 30th. However, there's a high chance that between the 18th to the 22nd, about that time frame, we're going to be getting another unit, right? And the unit I showed on the manga cover before, it's most likely going to be that unit, right? It's lining up perfectly to be in the anime, right? And since they did Reno, I think it's highly likely that we get that unit, right? So to me, and also that unit has some things in the files. Now, I'm just going to be honest, guys. It's not really a spoiler because it's like it's in the anime, right? I don't think it's a spoiler personally, but I'm gonna be very, very generic in what I'm saying and not really pinpoint the thing. But you guys know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about, right? So, listen, I think too many banners is bad, especially when every single new update is like bringing a multi, right? Oh, was it not even a multi? I don't even think this was a multi. Was it not a multi? I don't think it was a multi. So it's like when every update isn't bringing a multi and then you're getting only 1 multi from dailies, it really incentivizes you to spend, right? Because, guys, I've done, including me buying packs, in total on the, with crystals, I've done only 300 pulls with crystals, right? So there's not a lot of currency. Now, to be fair, granted, I've not done a lot of the special requests. I'm going to make that very clear. There's some to do. However, there's not a lot of currency. Because of that, I don't feel too good. Also, note that maybe 3 to 4 multis worth probably went into just stamina. But still, there's not a lot of currency to where it's like they can't be releasing this amount of banners. And it won't be fine, right? That's the main thing. It will not be fine if they release this amount of banners. I don't really fuck with it. 3 banners in a month is a little too much, and 3 banners in a week is too much. 3 banners in a month is too much. The problem is if they continue, and it's like, oh, but they won't continue. But in the span of a week, they managed to bring out another banner. We don't give a fuck about the rerun. Who cares? And then also bring out a new weapon type specifically for 1 unit, and if you don't pull the weapon type now, you're fucked later, right? That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. I just don't really fuck with that concept of kind of screwing things over a bit right away. Now, I really think the game is still going to be overall fine, mainly because the pity system, I like it. Personally, I like it. It's 250. Yes, it's high. However, the rate's 1% for the character, so you could literally pull, get the units, and then it's like, oh, well, I summon on this unit, but I didn't summon on the unit before. Let me pity the unit before because of the currency I summoned with the new one. So it's like, things like that work very well. Pity out for 30 days is pretty big, right? That's for sure. It's just like, if we get 1 multi a week, and then it's 5 multis a month or 6, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be enough. However, it's definitely valid to say that you could skip Sagan, right? I do want to say, if you want to skip Sagan, it makes sense. She's an OC. If you only want to summon for anime characters from the IP, that makes perfect sense. Sagan is a skip overall. Her kit is good, not amazing, so she is skippable. That is really not the problem. The problem is basically the standard they're setting, that it's fine, or making it normal for 2 banners to come out in a week, or 8 days, if you will, right? I do not like that, because there's not enough currency that even in 4 banners for us to pity, right? And that's including launch currency. So what happens when there's no more launch currency levels and then it's reduced, right? So there's also the idea that maybe because it's launched, they're releasing more, but that does scream a bit of a cash cow. Trying to milk it dry, and then whoosh, it's gone. But the thing is, the game is very high quality. I think the game is actually a 7 out of 10 gacha, which for a gacha game is very good. The combat's fun. They're going to have 2 more sets of content this month. So in total, out of the whole month, there's a solid maybe 2 weeks that you have actual content. which is fire. I genuinely think for me, as a side game, that's good. The problem is, if you're not able to guarantee at least 1 every 3 unit, well, not guarantee, yeah, if you can't like really guarantee 1 every 3 units, I do believe that is a problem, especially moving forward. Like it's not going to be too good. So we're in this gray area right now where I want to bring up these points to further expand on in the future when we have more information that there might be too many units, and weapon archetypes, knowing that there's future units that will have exclusive weapons is a problem. I don't think it's a problem if they give us free-to-play variants for 4 stars, but they can't like do this level of FOMO to where it's like, oh, I gotta get the 5-star every single time, right? You shouldn't need that. So it does kind of suck. Now, one thing is Reno might actually be on the standard banner or an unfeatured. Either or is possible. So I think that's really cool. If he's in the unfeatured afterwards, I actually really find that sick as hell, because that means you summon on future units and you could get dupes of Reno and shit. So if he is on the unfeatured in the future, that does mean that units that are unfeatured and then also some limited OCs, you could skip both of them and you're in a pretty good spot to where it's like, yeah, you could guarantee some of the units, and the other units you should definitely get over time, especially with how high the rates are. This is the one game that unfeatured might be good in, considering that unfeatured character rate is in total 2%, which means every unfeatured character, if we check it out, is at 0.285, which is very high for an unfeatured. So I really wanted to bring up points, good and bad, being pity's good. The unfeatured thing with Reno seems to be really good. However, weapon archetypes don't seem to be good. I do not like how that's going. I think the content is fine enough, but the currency that we're getting from it is not enough, right? If we're getting like 4 things a month and they give a multi each, right? 5 multis a month when you have 3 banners a month doesn't seem good. However, if they start making banners every 3 weeks, I think that's fine. I do think that's fine. Every like 2.5 to 3 weeks to me is the sweet spot in this game, especially. If they're going to introduce new weapon types, that's fine. However, when you combine new weapon type for 1 unit and also a banner right after another, right after another, right after another, then that's not going to be a good mesh. So they got to start like getting into the groove of things, right? Because right now I am a bit scared with how this game goes if the next banner is between like the 16th to the 22nd, which as of right now does seem to be the case. Take that with a grain of salt though. However, by the, like no matter what, we're getting a banner on the 30th, new banner, that's for sure. I am very happy with how the game is, besides the gacha and how they're handling this new weapon type system that it seems they're expanding on, because it's fine to bring new weapon types. However, you could have done what Wuwa did, which is like keep it in the same genre. Like you can make Chakona has a gun. She mainly doesn't use a gun, right? So it's like you could do something like that. But if you don't, at least give some type of free-to-play option, because there could be some unlucky fucks that get Sagan like multi 1 or 2 and literally don't have a weapon. What happens in that situation, right? You literally can't do shit. You have to chase forward, or you just don't have a weapon at all, which is crazy. So a weapon is an L for me. The potential like really quick pace is bad, but for the quick pace, I think we have to see how it goes. If the banner's on the 30th, for me, this is more of a launch thing, or maybe how it is that the other option I see is that we're going to get a unit every 3 weeks and you pick up for like an anime, and then every chapter is going to bring a new original character. If they do that, I think that's fine, right? Because it means the original story probably, if it's like 1 extra unit every 2 months, given the rates, I think that's fine. But we'll have to see how it goes, right? These are things that we're opening discussion for. I want to make you aware of the weapon, because not many people were aware of the weapon type thing, like kind of weird thing that they're going on. And also, I think the banner schedule is a bit too quick considering the very low currency. Right now, we're looking at about maybe 50 to 70 pulls a month, which is okay. If the pity was maybe a little lower, or if there was less banners, one of the two. So we'll have to see. I'm pretty optimistic for this game as long as new units like OCs and limited OCs are not that frequent. If they are, that's a problem. We'll have to see, but I don't think they will be. But, you know, we'll see. If we get Chester and then afterwards it's like, oh, new unit after Chester, new unit, and then it's like, oh, the like green and white haired girl. It's like, oh, new unit, right? New Kafka, new Mina. I don't know, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Just want to open the discussion for this. See you in the next one. Let me know what you think in the comments below.